this is something I'm really fucking interested in hearing. Like, I know on this channel I've had so many fucking takes on Zepla. Like, in the past, just like a little TLDR. In the past, I have raided with Zepla. I was her raid leader for a short while. It didn't work out. Unfortunate fucking split there. Um, After a while, I also had some critical reaction videos to her content. I don't hate her. Just to clarify, before any fucking Zepla stands are having a go at me, I don't hate her. I just want her content to be fucking better and her to feel a lot less miserable. Because the last couple of times I visited her streams, she just looks fucking miserable. And not just because she's playing WoW. But the reason we're talking about Zepla today is because someone sent me a thumbnail, and it's this one. And I shit you not, I started watching it because out of like curiosity, but I'm actually legitimately am curious what the actual fuck is an immersion raider. What's I'm kind of imagining her like raiding in VR with like full, just being flashbanged by full effect. Like, obviously I have my own opinions why she's not raiding, but it's like I'm curious what the fuck is I'm an immersion raider. Also, if her editors ever see my video, move the fucking text a bit. The time code is always on the bottom right. Just like make this text either like formatted differently or just like put it a bit higher. It's like it's not being read very well here. Here as well. Here as well. But yeah, let's watch this video because I gotta know what the fuck is an immersion raider, or at least what reasoning Zepla has to have stopped raiding. I have my own, obviously, like kooky fucking theories why she's not raiding anymore, but they're also not very nice. They're not very polite things to say out loud, so I try to behave myself recently. I try to be nicer to people. Fucking baby steps, though, so people in the comments can eat my shit. Fuck off, if you don't mind. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Everyone's opinion is valid.
Was it top that ruined rating for you? No. I really thought about this. Top didn't ruin rating.
Just to clarify, she was a mega miserable during top rating. She was just... People were like keeping track of her progress in top, and she was just going schizo. She had a physical notebook where she was writing people's names, number of mistakes, like what kind of mistakes they did. It was like schizo scratchings, like something like a psychopath in the ward like scratches on the walls with their toenails. It was wild, and she was looking miserable in that time. She was looking miserable. They had a lot of fucking P1 and P2 memes. It was very funny to watch. Obviously not funny for her and her static, but it was funny for me because I was taking a break.
Even though I had a really bad time with it, I think ultimately it was the story.
Oh. I heard this before. I watched like the first start of this video before. But you got my attention. Where you gonna go with it?
Looking back, I think it's actually story. Because I stopped really enjoying the story much in Endwalker patches. And something I've noticed is my enjoyment of the story is what gives me motivation and hype and excitement to do the other content.
That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true, is it? Because first of all, Todd doesn't have the story of Endwalker. Just because you're not enjoying the story of Endwalker itself, it's not even connected to Top in general. Top is based on fucking Omega from Stormblood. I'm not entirely sure, like... like, just because I'm not enjoying the story of Endwalker Dawntrail doesn't mean I'm gonna go out and fucking punch traffic cones out of frustration. It should not affect the other parts of my fucking life or the other parts of content. It's like the same thing if I say Criterion's kind of shit, because the story in Endwalker was kind of mid. I'm not connecting these dots. Maybe it's very different for her. She has to be excited for Zero or, I don't know, Gilgamesh to enjoy content in a story, but it's like I feel like this has been a thing with her for a while, because she gets burnt out and she just kind of does nothing for a very long while. She did it in Shadowbringers. She did it in she did it in Endwalker. She's doing it in Dawntrail. She's not doing anything in Dawntrail, to be fair. She spent like majority of Endwalker just chilling in Charlian. Just like most of her hours in Endwalker is just sitting in Charlie and reacting to content. And in Shadowbringers, she at least tried to do some things, but it's more or less was the same. I remember her T-Prog. people that I talked to from that group were not very fucking happy with the aftermath, but that's not for me to say.
It's been like an engine fueling me this whole time, and I lost my momentum there. And the last time that this happened, last time I stopped raiding, was actually in Stormblood during a period of time before the like there was a part in Stormblood where I was very bored by the story, and I stopped raiding during that time.
Now, this is going to be I know we're just 1 minute into the fucking video. Just like my thoughts on this is that we really need some more midcore content. We really do. Like, as much we know that Zepla has clear ultimate content, but we also fucking know she's not a raider. As mean as that sounds, she's not really a raider. She's a casual player. She comes in, she hangs out with chat, she needs some stuff to do. Some casual fucking content, casual to midcore content. She has nothing to do in game. Like, I genuinely agree with her. Because every time she does raiding, it just doesn't somehow work out. Somehow people leave, people are kicked out, some either drama, or Prague just doesn't finish, or Prague gets a bit of drama, or, you know, it's like, raiding is just not her content. She needs something else to do in game, and we really need more midcore content. I don't think it's the story. I think it's just she's bored because she doesn't actually like raiding. At least that's my thought. But it's like, that is the case with a lot of people in the game. It's like, they don't want to do ultimate raids. They don't want to fucking do weekly reclears, let alone, like, they'll clear the tier 1s. They got their mount. Cool. They got their glam. They don't even want the weapon most of the time. What the fuck else is there to do? Give them Criterion. Give them another deep dungeon. It's like, this expansion is supposed to give something. So I think Zepla isn't specifically burnt out on story. It's like, there's no, let's say story. There's no story connecting her to anything else in the game. She go through this. We all go through the same story. We go through the MSQ. We do the same dungeons. We barely even come back to those dungeons unless we're leveling. It's like, need more midcore content. Need more, like, chaotic alliance raid. Fucking well done. Well fucking done. As far as I see, it's good content. But we need more of it. We need more stuff like that so that people can actually do it. Is you to put it nice, we're not burnt out. Yeah, we're feeling that way because we're bored. Yeah, yep, exactly. People felt this way when we were end of Endwalker. There was fucking nothing to do for almost 7 months, right? People were fucking bored. Same right now. We have nothing to do for the first 8 months of this expansion. There's gonna be some content that people can do, but that shit should have been out in 7.1. Guild Wars has fractals. World of Warcraft has Mythic Plus and Delves now. They already said they're working on the deep dungeon, they're working on the operational content, you know, the exploration zone, the other exploration zone for gatherers and crafters. But it's like, this shit should have been out in 7.1. It legitimately it should actually bring everyone into the expansion. Make it a bit more quiet in the middle, but why the fuck is the start expansion so fucking boring? We go through the story, okay, not everyone liked the story, and we all skipped it on day 1. Okay, cool. Later on, they released 7.1, we got a raid and some extreme fights. Cool, neato. Is there anything else to this expansion, or are we done? We just do the story, and then we're done. Cool, neato. Fucking love that for me. Fucking great. There's just nothing to do. You just play like a fucking single-player game. What is the point of it being an MMO? We really need midcore content, and all this content, like deep dungeons or anything, like, even partially. Send it early. Oh, deep dungeon, give us the first fucking 20 floors. Give us the first fucking 20 floors. Release, like, extra 20 floors, rewards and bosses later on, gradually. Fucking even that fucking works. Right? Because we're on the system of 100 floors. Right? Do that shit. Give us something. Like, all this content should have been out in 7.1. It should have literally, like, we literally got the island in 6.1. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, we got more content in Endwalker, and that is supposed to be the bland expansion, according to a lot of people. We literally spent a year and 3 months doing nothing, pretty much. I mean, we did something. Like, let's not take it away. The raids, I like the raids. The raids were fun. Sunrise can suck my dick, but other than that mechanic, the raids were fun. I like the raids. Extreme fights were also really fun. But for most people, even the most casual ones, that is fun for at least 1 month. It's been 8. We need more midcore content, more activity, something. Hell, give us like mini dungeons with like delves in World of Warcraft that people can do solo or with a group. Give us something. It's like, again, Valley's a sick fight. Yeah, Valley Garmando was really fucking sick. Everkeep is also sick. Speen, Not a big fan of it, but it's like I think it's also a good fight compared to like some of the older ones we used to have.
And people don't really know that, but that's true. Some of you might remember it. I just stopped doing Savage. I stopped doing String Trials completely.
But that's every expansion, Zepla. You kind of do this every expansion.
So there's a pattern here that I've noticed. It's really weird because those things don't seem like they should be connected at all, and it's really frustrating for me too. But this is just apparently I'm like very emotional about. I don't know what it is exactly, but that's how my brain is. The story is what got me really hyped to be in the world and like go 1,000%, go 1,000 miles per hour. And for now, I just, you know, I'm waiting for 8.0.
Waiting for 8.0. Holy shit. Holy shit. Some people are just wilding about Dawn Trail, aren't they? I get that the story isn't for everyone, but fuck me, everyone's just like... It's like just hoping for 8.0 over just some annoying story or you just not liking Wukla mod. It's a bit much. There's still gonna be more stuff coming out. If Final Fantasy V content in the new Baja is gonna be sick, it's like... Are you still gonna have the same opinion? I mean, to be fair, she's not wrong, because other than the story, there's not really much else right now. She's kind of not wrong, just not for the reasons I would agree.
I'm waiting for 8.0 right now. Endwalker Pack story seemed like they had no idea where to go next. I was very bored. It was very predictable because I'm aware of the story of FF4, and it was as soon as I'd seen the 4 fiends or whatever, I'm like, oh shit. I know exactly what's about to happen.
I mean, to be fair, I get that the end story with the 4 fiends, it's like in Golbez, might be very predictable. Obviously, they had their own little twists and turns with the story. Obviously, it's not going to be it wasn't copy-paste from Final Fantasy IV. But there's also been a lot of other fucking references throughout the expansion, besides the Loperates. Like P11S is literally a Kane reference, you know, a Dragoon that's being mind-controlled and forced to fight his friends. There's like a lot of other references. I get it, that's like, you're not a fan of the story because you wanted something new, but this whole game is based literally like on references to old games. It's literally based on this. Like, majority of the game is like even the races are from other Final Fantasy games. They're just renamed. I get it that you don't like the 4 fiends. I get that that story was not for everyone. But it's like, why are we building like an entire opinion of the expansion based on that? Because like let's be honest, 7.1, everyone fucking loved it. The walk, meeting the friends, you know, everyone remembers the walk across, you know, the Ghostlands. Not the Ghostlands, but like up the stairs while talking to all the ghosts. Everyone fucking loved it. But the moment the story went from that towards something new, fuck me. Everyone just immediately decided that Endwalker is the worst fucking expansion. People are so fucking quickly to throw that towel.
And I'm also familiar with FF4, so I know exactly what's gonna happen. And I was right. And it was really boring. Yeah. Hot take. Post-Endwalker story was worse than Dawn Trail? I totally disagree. That is a hot take. I've looked at the Post-Endwalker story again after doing Dawn Trail, and I'm like, perhaps I judged you too harshly. Because even though it was boring, at least it was coherent. It was like very predictable, but I mean, it was logically sound more or less. And it still fit within the established rules of the universe in terms of how lore, like the souls work and consumption of souls and the corruption and your ether and all that. Like all that was handled with respect to the past lore. And it wasn't like filled with inconsistencies and stuff. It was just boring. I can forgive more.
I get that a lot of people don't like the story, but we gotta remember that this is not like the end story. This is not like the end of this expansion story. This is like one of the first expansions that literally starts off of a fresh story. It's supposed to be boring, it's supposed to be slow, and it's supposed to be like very differently coherent compared to all the rest of the story. Because, like, Endwalker literally ended on something that's not really even relevant or connected to Dawn Trail. Like, not by a long shot. We just decided to fucking go there because we're in Charlene and there's a wacky expedition, there's a mail, there's no, like, proper fucking connection. Meanwhile, every other expansion, there was, like, some connection between expansions, right? I understand that Dawn Trail is supposed to be at some point the new starting point for new players. Neato. But every other expansion just, like, had something going into the next one. The stream? Is the stream alive? Hello, hi. Hello, hi. Is the stream still live? Hi. It's working fine. It's working kind of fine. And how it ended with no connection to DT whatsoever. But yeah, essentially that's my point. It's like Dawn Trail is supposed to be like the new starting zone for newbies. There's like every other expansion somehow connected other expansions together. At the end of Realm Reborn, we had to go somewhere, so we went to Ishgard. At the end of Ishgard, I don't remember the story, but something sent us specifically to the east. This is simply the first fucking time the end of an expansion, so end of Endwalker, just is not connected to Dawn Trail. That's why everyone's just kind of like not unhappy. This is new, but it feels like a, you know, the start of a story. It feels like Realm Reborn. It feels like at level 100, we're treated like new fucking players. Also, let me swap the screen. It feels like at level 100, we're treated as new fucking players in a new starting zone, and the story is very, you know, wacky and quirky and adventurous. It's like we're not really saving the world much anymore. It doesn't, at least it doesn't feel like it. The story is just like very, very basic, which feels odd. Exactly, it feels odd. And the fact that we have to talk to the same person 100 times, again, people don't like talking to Wuklamad. But we had to talk to, you know, our designated fucking drivers, depending which our starting city was, and then we had to talk to Minfilia 100 fucking times. That's why it feels so fucking bland. We all got tired of talking to fucking Minfilia. So we're all tired of fucking talking to Wuklamad. I understand this fucking feeling. But you gotta understand that this shit is gonna line up for some fucking story where at some point Wuklamad is gonna become edgier and we're gonna have to fucking put her down. Because she's doing something drastic for her people or some shit. You know? At some point we're gonna have to fucking kill her. I'm sorry, Scoobs, we gotta fucking kill her. And it's like, I understand that. But it's like people are immediately just like complaining about how this game is fucking dead. And because this expansion, yada, 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 yada. You know, the usual fucking 100 excuses. I get that, but it's like people need to kind of also look at this like from a perspective that this is supposed to be a brand new start to a story. Don't bring up how many times we had to talk to the same unnamed NPC times in AR. Yeah, fucking AR. Like, they had to shorten the fucking questline in AR for a reason. They removed like 100 and... What was it, like 123? No, 120 something fucking quests were removed from AR because it's so fucking tedious to do it. It had me in Spain without the S. It had me in Spain without the A. I was spinning.
Yeah. I wasn't on the edge of my seat, but I also wasn't, like, feeling the way I do now. I still had hope. My friends in my status.
You also need to keep in mind, even if you know... Even if you play Final Fantasy IV, right? And you predicted the story of Endwalker. Neato. Here's the small difference. This is like, obviously, this might be a bit of copium on my side. Remember, I'm not exactly defending this game, but you also need to remember that everything in this fucking game at some point has a fucking continuation. Right? We see Hien every fucking expansion. Even if it's just for a couple of seconds, we see him. Even if we fucking talk to him only in Stormblood, right? Same here. This is the story of those 4 fiends and Golbez and Zero continuing later on, and somehow connecting with the Rin and Guy's world, right? That's the point. You may have played the game and you predicted some stuff, but this story hasn't ended yet. We're gonna go back there at some point. You know we will go back there at some point. Unfortunately, this is how this fucking world works. We gotta go back there at some point.
That's the only reason I was stepping any rating higher than streams. Just stop rating 2, because I'm not motivated by the MSQ. So you kind of know what I'm talking about then.
Happy also knew how it was going to go and didn't care for it exactly either, but he still talked about the good on his podcast, kept it positive. I like Mr. Happy. Sometimes, like, he has a bad day, I'll tune into his stream and he just seems like the biggest asshole ever. But I also now know that he is doing his best, trying to keep his streams, like, and his content very positive, very informative, and very, you know, Mr. Happy-like. So I have respect for Mr. Happy. Just not when he streams like an asshole. But, like, I have respect that he is still trying to keep his content, specifically, what's the word I'm looking for? Approachable.
I'm an immersion raider. Oh my god. Yes. Yes, dude. Yes, though. Yes, I'm an immersion raider.
I mean, okay, I get it if the raid was like, I don't know, the end, the end of Shadowbringers. I get that, right? The story is somehow connected to the raids, but like, what the? Why are we connecting other raids that have a story unconnected to the story of the expansion? I get it. If you're an immersion raider, okay, cool. What? Okay, let's say for sake of argument, let's say just for sake of fucking argument, let's even go back to Endwalker, right? Savage fights in Asphodelos, right? If the story was good, are you gonna dress up like Barbarisa or I don't know Ruby Conte on stream and cosplay that while doing Asphodelos? No, because those aren't fucking related, are they? I'm very. What immersion do you fucking need? Christ.
I think so. And you know what else, though? I think part of it...
I also think one of the reasons her rating just doesn't fucking work out for her is because she's a casual slash mid-core player, right? She's a casual slash mid-core player that goes into raiding with a high-end raider's mindset. And she burns herself out because not everyone's built for that mindset. I legitimately think she just needs to raid and chill the fuck out. She doesn't need to clear content on patch. Even if she's going to be raiding and doing a tier for, I don't know, 3-4 months, I think that's going to be fucking fine for her. She just needs to find herself a good fucking group of people to raid with. Like, I legit think she just needs to find herself a good group of people, maybe find herself some, like, other content creators, and just raid casually with them. Hell, fucking go blind. Go blind. Don't do this fucking high-end shit. Don't do ultimates as well, honestly. It's like, you're gonna burn yourself out again. You're a mid-core raider. Like, not everyone wants to admit that they're not the best fucking raider, but it's like it's gonna be a lot fucking healthier for you to enjoy the game once you're able to do that. Find yourself some friends. Find yourself a static. Hell, you know, fuck it. Chat. I know, like, I talk against a lot of points she's making, right? I know, like, in the past I've criticized her. I don't hate Zepla, and if Zepla ever fucking comes back on you, and she needs help with raiding, I will help, fucking gladly. As long as we're not doing this weird shit where she's schizo-writing people's mistakes and counting in a notebook. If we're just doing a chill environment and she needs help with raiding, fucking I'm here. I'll help out again. But that's all up to her. Like I'm open about this. I don't hate her, but some of the things she says is wacky. Oh lord, is the one where she said top didn't make her stop rating? I don't believe that at all. Yep. All the contest tries again. Fact. She's a great parsing casual with the mindset of a 100 parser. Yeah, that's actually a good fucking way to put it. Like parsing aside, it's like everyone... Christ, there's nothing worse than arguing with someone who's less experienced than you. It's happened so many times in the past where you're trying to tell them you kind of need to do this so, you know, you don't get fucking killed. Like from my experience, like if you're a black mage, don't keep standing in Brazil. Come a bit closer so healers can actually heal you. They shouldn't have to use cooldowns on everyone and then throw fucking single little target heals on you alone because you're being an asshole. It's gonna contribute you to work with the fucking team or like a lot of mechanics in P4S, like, and you have these newer players who will argue with you. No, it's probably lag, probably server ticks, you know, shit like that, right? The great parsing casuals with the mindset of a 100 parser, yep. Come to Brazil! Come to Brazil!
Might also be just me feeling kind of alienated by the setting.
Setting?
Because I don't really like the urban aesthetic, the streetwear vibes and stuff like that. I don't like that stuff, personally. I think it's kind of... it's not for me. I like fantasy. I like high fantasy. And I don't...
There's like a lizard behind her just drinking fucking pina coladas. What the fuck are we talking about? I get it. For a second, we went into Final Fantasy IX's future world with technology. I get it. But that technology existed in Final Fantasy IX as well. We've had technology. Magitech has been around. We've been fighting Ultimate Weapon as well. Sid is also someone who has been making some wacky fucking technology as well. I get it, you like your Final Fantasy aesthetic, but it's like... for the longest time, Final Fantasy always had tech. Final Fantasy 1 had ships, flying ships. Final Fantasy 2, I don't fucking remember, honestly. Final Fantasy 3 had ships as well, and some robots. Final Fantasy 4, you are... the amount of fucking robots you fight in that game, actually. Now that I'm thinking back on Final Fantasy 4, you are fighting so much mechanized shit with a sword and a shield. Like, even at the very end of the game, you were like atop of a giant fucking mech that's supposed to be destroying the world, but you're in its head fighting other bosses, fighting Golbas before, you know, the whatever. I'm not gonna spoil it, right? Final Fantasy 5, I have not played. I'm not gonna talk about that. Final Fantasy 6. Oh boy, that whole game is based on technology versus magic and technology harnessing magic. Final Fantasy 7, holy shit, it's literally about pollution. Final Fantasy 8. Oh, I don't want to fucking continue, but that's pretty much it. Like, even Final Fantasy 9 went back to more fantasy-like roots, but even there, like, the moment you go to Alexandria and you see, like, the technological fucking wonders, I don't know. And you're still fighting aliens, by the way, in that game. You're literally fighting aliens, and, you know, I don't know. It's like, I get you don't like the streetwear, but some people would like to wear streetwear, especially when we're in fucking Brazil. And then we go to Texas with all the cowboys.
I'm not that interested in that part of the world. I'm not interested in the Solution 9 aesthetic that much. And, like, I'm not into it. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
The wrestling thing is kind of not for me. Yeah.
I mean, she could just say, I don't like the story and the rating's too hard. What is this immersion gamer shit?
I really hope they turn the story around. There's so much pressure on 8.0. Like I said earlier.
Why are we looking at 8.0? We still have two... we got 7.2 and 7.3 to fucking go through. So many times, like, what the fuck are we talking about? 7.1, like, 7.1, 6.1 were different stories to everything after that. Why the fuck are we waiting for 8.0? They might literally give us a completely different story. We might literally have to deal with 0 and, you know, going back to, the first. Like, what are... 7.4 is the lead up to 8.0. God, she's gonna be waiting for a while. I don't know how long she's planning to play World of Warcraft, but, like, does she still play Genshin, by the way, or is that like a dead fucking game on her resume as well? But yeah, it's like until it's 8.0, there's like so much shit we still have to play and go through. Why are we? I don't know.
If something isn't working for me, it's better to just stop. Especially talking about my own feelings is either falling on deaf ears or is becoming problematic. Do you think me talking about my feelings is becoming problematic?
I mean, yeah.
Do you think that I'm saying too much bad things and I should just stop it?
Like, no. Like, to be fair, like, the ball is in Zepla's court. If you don't like a game, whatever fucking reason you find that you do not like the game, you're valid. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if other people approve of your reasoning, if other people share that opinion, if you don't like a game, right? You don't fucking like the game, whatever the fucking reason is, right? Like, I don't like sports game. I don't like FIFA 2050 or whatever the fuck, how many of them are there now, right? It doesn't matter. It's just, I don't like it. It doesn't matter what fucking reason. But you don't need to specifically find blame in everything to make your opinion, like, Omega validated. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't have to put, like, all this blame and find these, like, mental gymnastics and connect all these weird fucking dots just to specifically say, I don't like it, but I'm also not wrong about it. It's like, nope, you didn't need to. Not all gloves fit on the same hand. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Like, whatever your reasoning is, like, if you don't like the game, that's fucking fine. It's dandy. But if you're gonna say, I don't like this game, and it's the fucking game's fault, I wanna like it, but it's not fucking letting me, that's where we're gonna have a fucking problem. DT isn't perfect, but people are acting like it's worse than pre-ARR. It's weird. It is weird. I think just people are... Like, I think it's literally people need midcore content, because they're fucking bored. They got nothing else to fucking do. The most fun activity in the downtime in any expansion of 14 is drama. Drama content.
Okay. But I was talking about my own experiences Okay, well, I have people come here all the time that are like, oh, here we go. She's still saying this stuff. Well, it's gonna... Here's the situation. I'm gonna keep saying how I feel until it gets better.
I also bitch about things until the problem resolves itself. Until I'm able to convince myself to like the things again, I will keep bitching about it. Like, again, like, complaints are valid, but you also need to sometimes fucking think. This shit is not gonna be fixed in 8.0. With the story that's written, it's not gonna be fixed in 8.0 if you really don't like the story. Because this story needs to transition somehow into the next one. So if in 7.2 and 7.3 you're not gonna like the fucking story, I'm sorry to say, you'll probably not like 8.0.
Okay. It's like, if there's a bunch of garbage in my house, I'm gonna keep pointing it out and trying to do something about it until it's gone.
But you could just take it out. You could just not have the garbage in your house. You could also just... Okay.
As long as I can still...
I also have like a swimming pool full of garbage bags, and every morning I just come up with my cup of coffee, stretch, and then I just keep pointing and yelling at it. What the fuck is this doing this? Holy shit, not again. Fucking why I oughta. And then I go back into the house. Nothing happens, but another day, another dollar.
See it there, and it's a problem for me and it's stinky. I'm gonna be like, hey, let's deal with it. Because I care about the house being a nice place to be. But what I will say is, I usually do go out of my way to not just be like, you'll never hear me just be like, this game sucks, or this game is dead. The game dying.
Isn't that what you got in trouble in Endwalker for? There was a lot of people just literally reacting to your one fucking video, Doom talking Endwalker. You had a whole back and forth with Xeno because you didn't fucking think about the whole monitor thing too. You literally... Okay, well, it's fine, it's fine, it's fucking fine.
I never say that. I'm always pointing out like specific things that I think should...
Chat, I want to clarify, I'm not doing this whole thing where I go back and call out her videos again. I'm trying to be more positive this year, okay? I'm trying to be nicer. But fucking shit. Fucking baby steps, okay? Fucking baby steps.
Be improved. Okay, there's a huge difference between doing that and just being like a shitter, okay? Being a hater. But that's not productive. In fact, I go out of my way to, if we're gonna react to a video that's about Dawn Trail or whatever, I make sure that it's gonna be a productive discussion that comes out of it. And I run it by mods, I run it by friends to make sure, like, okay, is this just a circle jerk? Or can we talk about issues in a fair way?
Okay, none of my business how she makes her content though.
Can we have a constructive discussion? That's what I'm trying to do here. And every day I hear from new people, and it's enlightening to me. Like, for example, we just had somebody in the chat say they're not raiding, but they're having a good time. I love to hear from these people because the game is big, and there's a lot of ways you can play it. Can you explain, like, on 5Me, what's the current issues? Sure. So currently in Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail, there's some things that are really good, and there's some things that are really, really bad. The things that are really good include the latest graphics update that massively improved player textures and all kinds of materials and shaders and stuff.
Okay, chat, okay. Unpopular opinion, possibly a hot take. Quality of life additions, don't give a shit. They don't make the game. It might look prettier, I don't give a fuck. I care about the content. If your list of good things about a game started with quality of life additions that they added, you're not gonna have a lot of fucking good things to say about the game, and most likely your list of bad things about the game is gonna be annoyingly long. Quality of life features are not fucking... It's not content. It's not part of the fucking game. It's not the fucking game. I don't play Final Fantasy 14 for the fucking blacklist, do I? I mean, a lot of people don't play for it right now, but it's like I get quality of life is it does improve the game, but I would like to play the fucking game.
Stuff in the world. So visually, the game is looking better than it's.
Like, the closest fucking thing to MMO gameplay right now that we have is role players in their fucking house and hunt trains, where people gather, they socialize, they kill some world bosses, right? But that shit, we don't need a new fucking expansion to do that shit, right? Okay, I'm about to start fucking ranting about my own list.
Ever looked. Another thing that's good is the battle systems in the game. Currently, the dungeon bosses are more engaging and fun than they have ever been, and the raids are really well received by the players. There's also a new Chaotic Alliance raid.
Has he even started the Savage? 8 in normal. Chat, shh, behave, fucking behave. But yeah, we don't judge. Whatever the fuck Karpar says, that's not what we're trying to see. We're just trying to see if she's actually participating in content. But if she's not really doing anything, it's like saying what other people are saying is like it's the same as just saying buzzwords on Twitter.
Which is another form of high-end content that people can engage in, which has been fun and rewarding for people who like high-end rating content. However, if you happen to be like me, a person who's not interested in high-end rating content at the moment for whatever reason, either time commitments or just wanting to do something more chill you can hop in and out of, you might be feeling a little disenfranchised at the moment because there's just not a whole lot of casual content for players to do that aren't interested in committed rating.
I mean, there's not really anything to fucking do right now. I'm glad that we at least like agree on some points. It's just like we're going about these points in very different ways. She's correct there. Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. This is the point I made at the start of this video too. It's like I like that we do agree on multiple points. We just go about them very, very fucking differently.
And the argument could be made that in Japanese data centers, it doesn't take as much of a commitment to clear things like the Chaotic Alliance raid because they're typically better organized and better coordinated than we are over here on NA and EU. So that was part of the discussion that we were having before, is where does Chaotic Alliance raid sit in the offerings of content that Dawntrail has?
Midcore. Chaotic is 100% midcore. Because, and I can tell you this for a fucking fact, if you just talk to people, like, Chaotic raid is one of the first raids that I've seen even casuals go into Party Finder for. Not all of them, mind you. They're still worried about Party Finder, but I've seen casual players go in and fucking have a grand old time. They feel like they're doing some cool, really, really cool content. Because no, there's 24 people, and they know they're not going to be the only one fucking up if they fuck up, right? And clearing it, as far as I've been told, is actually satisfying for a more casual and mid-core player. Apparently the fight is very, very fucking fun. I'm having fun so far while progging it. Chaotic is like, yeah.
Given the fact that right now there's a general sentiment that the game has a lack of casual content that you can just very casually and in a low pressure, low commitment way hop in and do whenever you're not raiding. Because
this is what I mean. She does brings up a good point, and it's the same point I brought up earlier. It's like, why is all the good content coming out much later in the expansion? The first 8 months are fucking nothing burger right now. We're doing nothing. There's almost nothing in the brand new fucking expansion. There should have been so much shit coming out literally in 7.1. They're either gonna send like so much fucking content in the next like year, because we know that the tail end of the expansion is gonna be quiet again. It's gonna be like quiet fucking 6-7 months again. So either they're sending like a bunch of fucking content soon, or I don't know what the other option this is, or this is a dead expansion, honestly. Because like no content, no people that want to do anything. I think it's a bit too strict for 24. I know there's like some mechanics that are a bit might seem too strict because they come from Savage, but I promise you, it's a lot more fun than you think. When it's specifically 24 people and not 8.
because right now it really
It kind of has that feeling of the Fall Guys event, only, you know, it actually works. The server ticks aren't fucking you over. But it has that kind of feeling to me. Like, the Chaotic raid is very similar to Fall Guys event.
feels like if you're not raiding, well, this kind of, you don't have any.
To be fair, even raiders are fucking bored right now. We just go into Party Finder, we either help people with their Savage clears, maybe like help some practice groups, or we're progging something. But even what we're progging is like, we just prog it for a bit, and that's our raid session or Party Finder, and then we try to find something else to do. Because we cannot really just keep progging one fight for like the entire day in an MMO.
Anything to do right now. There's not. Okay, you've got Extreme Trials, you have an Ultimate Raid, you have Chaotic Alliance Raid, you got Savage. That's a ton of shit to do if you want to raid. If you don't want to raid, well, you're kind of SO.
Even if you're rated, that's not a lot of shit, to be fair. It's not a lot.
Well, and so there's that. That's a big problem in my opinion and in my experience as a casual player at the moment. Second big problem and the biggest elephant in the room is, of course, the story. The story took a nosedive and...
Don't give a shit about the story. Don't fucking give a shit about the story, honestly. If you don't like the story, just fucking skip it. Do something else. Like, Look, chat, I understand that story is important, especially in a fucking Final Fantasy game. But we're gonna get different fucking stories. Some people fucking loving it. They're like, ooh, Brazil represent, ooh. Or some feller that like really, really likes cowboys in Texas. Ooh, I love me some cowboy action. Or whatever the fuck was in Shalani. It's like, some people like this. There's not a lot of them, but at least they're at least having fun, right? It's like, I get that majority did not fucking like the story. I get that. I genuinely understand it. Me, myself, I fucking skipped most of the fucking story. Because I got so fucking tired halfway through it. Halfway through it, when I reached Shalani, I got so fucking tired of listening to so much exposition and chatter and just absolute fucking nothing. I started skipping halfway through it. I did not care anymore. But who the fuck are we kidding? Even if this is a Final Fantasy game, the story can be done in one day. It can be done maybe 1-2 day if you're more casual. 1-2 day, maybe 1-3. I don't know why Zepla fucking took ages to finish the story. I'm not gonna question it. Maybe she's busy. But it's like, the story is content that can be done in a day. Unless you're an avid New Game Plus enjoyer, I don't feel like you should have an opinion on specifically this story, because story is always very subjective to like what people like. Maybe some people fucking love that part where Muklamat offers you a taco or some shit. Who knows? Story is always going to be very subjective.
In the Endwalker patches, in my opinion, and Dawn Trail story was an absolutely unmitigated disaster for me. I hated it, and I made an entire video that was an hour and a half long, going into all the reasons why I hated it in a constructive way.
To be fair, you can be done with the story a lot faster than that video.
So that's where we're at. And I was also talking about the fact that not liking the story has resulted in me not being motivated to raid. So even the, yeah.
Okay, again, this is a very roundabout. She said some good things. Cool, neat, graphics, better. And then she says, okay, so the story in Post Endwalker, not good. Dawn Trail story, not good. I don't even want to raid because of that. Are there any other bad points about the expansion? Because again, if it's just story, fucking just put down the book. Do something else.
That's it. You're doing really well communicating. Folks who attach their identity with the game will struggle to understand, no matter what. Well, I can relate, because there was a time when I did attach my identity to the game. You have to understand that I am...
You're still wearing the ears, though. Identity is still attached, though. Like, unfortunately, your identity is like... And I don't mean this in a mean way to Zepla. Let me just check real quick. That Genshin Impact channel isn't working out, is it? I'm not seeing it in the description. Does she still have the Genshin Impact separate channel anymore? I remember she had a separate channel just for Genshin Impact, but now she has one for WoW. Is it a new one? Is it an old one? Oh yeah, it's more fresh. It's... okay. Game-changing add-ons. Easy gear you're missing out on. Download or die. Add-ons. Okay. Okay, if you say so. I get that she's trying to kind of break off from Final Fantasy XIV. But her identity is very fucking etched. With the branding of Final Fantasy XIV. It's gonna be very, very hard to kind of step away from this. I know she's trying. I know she's trying to look like elsewhere. She's going into Genshin Impact. She's going to World of Warcraft. She's dividing her viewership, to be fair. Like, this has been a discussion in the past as well. She is dividing her own viewership by just like kind of trying to make content on 3 different fronts. I made that mistake as well. People come to my YouTube channel specifically for the yapping and the discussion of Final Fantasy XIV, or MMOs in general, right? Or raiding content, to be specific. That's going to be probably more closer to my niche. When I started uploading content from like stealth gameplay or sniper lead gameplay or any other clips, people don't fucking care about that. People don't fucking care. That's why I have a second channel where I post that shit now. Well, I say second. This is technically the second channel, but the viewership will get divided, but your identity is still attached to it.
I'm an extremely invested player that dedicated a career to this game that I spent 8 years playing. Like, I streamed only FF14 and no other games for several years in a row.
Well, that's not exactly true. I know you're all Twitch. I used to watch your old your alt on Twitch. That's not exactly true now, is it?
And I am extremely passionate about the game, and I know what it's like to have emotions all tied up with it, and I know what it's like when someone says something about something you love that's not positive, and it hurts because it's frustrating.
How dare you? No. I kind of see her point on this, that sometimes people just feel so strongly that they gotta fucking debate you on this without a proper argument. But take off the band-aid. Don't get that fucking invested in video games. Otherwise, you're gonna be left with a internally installed League client like me. I barely play League. I just have the client downloaded for no reason. Still don't have the heart to uninstall.
Frustrating for you, but like, it's frustrating for me to see the game that I fell in love with become slowly unrecognizable and to resemble itself less and less. And that is something that I have had to actually learn how to regulate my emotions over. In Endwalker, I was very bad at this. And I've actually spent several months doing meditation and trying to recognize when I'm feeling a certain way, learning when to take a breath, learning when to step back and see the bigger picture so that I don't like go off on a like anger or anything like.
I recommend therapy. This sounds mean, but I generally recommend it. But because if you're this invested into a game that you need to fucking meditate on it, step away, see the big picture. I get it. We're all invested in 14, but it's like it's a video game. It's not that deep. I do recommend therapy though, just because even the way we describe certain things, it's nice when someone can put it into words. The thought that we have, but aren't able to vocalize properly. So I think if she still loves Final Fantasy 14, as she says, I don't have a reason to doubt her. But if she cannot bring herself to enjoy it anymore and see it for what it is, or accept any changes about it, then the problem doesn't stem from the game. Because whether we like it or not, people still play the game. People still somehow find reasons to like it, even if it's like in the old expansions and not Dawn Trail. But it's like that an issue like this stems from ourselves, unfortunately.
Too negative because I don't want my points to be muddled in between all that. I'm always happy to hear people who disagree with me, but especially if.
To be fair, I don't disagree with her. I just don't fucking understand her point. I just don't understand the dots she's connecting. I don't like the story, therefore rating shit. This completely separate story to this story. If I don't enjoy this story is also out of the fucking question. No. No bueno.
They can do that in a productive, in a civil, in a kind way, so we both can learn from each other. That's what I'm trying to accomplish here. After I released this Dawn Trail story video, I was the thing that made me happiest was when people came into the stream and they said, "Hey, I liked Dawn Trail, but I enjoyed your video because you express yourself in a way that made me see things differently than I had. Like, you showed me your perspective, and even though I don't agree with it, it was interesting to listen." No, to me, that made me really glad because I'm thinking, awesome, this is my goal, to invite as many people into the conversation as possible. But I'm also going to be honest. Like, I will always be honest with you, with no matter what.
Is that it? That's a weird cutoff, but okay. If you say so. Wait, is that really where it fucking ends? Hold on. That's a really
Even though I don't agree with it, it was interesting to listen. Awesome. This is my goal, to invite as many people into the conversation as possible. But I'm also going to be honest. Like, I will always be honest with you, with no matter what.
That's very fucking abrupt. Okay. I don't want to call out Zepla. I'm fucking tired of it. I did plenty of that last year. I'm not gonna fucking call out whether or not she's honest or whatever the fuck she's doing. I'm not gonna call out Zepla. It's like she does what she has to do. I do understand the point she's making about it it feels nice when some people with different perspectives do come over. Obviously, I don't have a lot of viewers, so not a lot of people come over and tell me their perspective on during streams. But I have a lot of people. Holy shit! I have a lot of fucking comments that will come in and specifically point out their fucking point of view in contrast to mine. Especially like when we had the whole healer conversation. Like, how long was that fucking response video? It was like 4 hour comment response video. That was like, it fucking killed my throat when we did the video. But I did enjoy having a conversation with people. I did enjoy that. I agree with her in terms of that it's nice to have a discussion and people politely will share their points of view. But I still don't understand the fucking dots. Maybe someday I will. And again, my offer, if she ever comes back to raiding on Europe servers, and she just needs some help, I'm more than down to help out. But otherwise, I don't know. God, I hope immersion gamers and immersion raiders is not going to be a term. Holy shit.